Hello all of you. Welcome to Sarda Chadulu. Recently SCERT released for 10th class examination point of view and model questions. In this video I am going to explain reading comprehension question number 1 to 5. Here is a passage from the lesson A Letter to God. The woman who was preparing supper replied, "Yes, God willing." The older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, "Come for dinner." It was during the meal that just Lencho had predicted. A big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, hugged mountains of cloud could be seen approaching. The air was off, feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned, he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces, and the little ones are 5s. A letter to God." Here are some questions regarding this. Who is the woman mentioned in the passage? Who is the woman mentioned in the passage? The woman is Lencho's wife. How did Lencho feel initially? Lencho felt hopeful as he predicted rain would fall. Lencho felt hopeful as he predicted rain would fall. What are the big drops compared to? The big drops are compared to 10 cents. What figure of speech is used in the passage? The figure of speech is a personification. Lencho went out in the rain to feel the rain on his body. Okay. Next paragraph. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pounds. So he was able to send the family only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature of God. This is also from the first lesson, A Letter to God. For this comprehension, we have 4 questions here. Why did the postmaster decide to help Lencho? The postmaster decided to help Lencho to preserve his faith in God. The postmaster decided to help Lencho to preserve his faith in God. What did the postmaster need to help Lencho? The postmaster needed money to help Lencho. Who read Lencho's letter? Postmaster read Lencho's letter. Who read Lencho's letter? Postmaster read Lencho's letter. To whom did Lencho write a letter? To God. Lencho write a letter to God. Next paragraph 3. This is comprehension 3. Read the following passage carefully. 10th May dawned bright and clear. For the past few days I had been pleasantly signed by dignitaries and good leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South Africa's soil. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Building in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic, non-racial government. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Janani. On the podium, Mr. D. Clerk was the first sworn in as second deputy president. Then Thombo Mbeki was sworn in as first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the Constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and its people. This is from the Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. This extract is from Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. For this, we have 5 questions. Okay. What is the meaning of the word rainbow gathering? A gathering of people from different races, colors and nations, symbolizing unity and diversity. What is the meaning of rainbow gathering? A gathering of people from different races, colors and nations, symbolizing unity and diversity. Where was the inauguration taking place? Gathering of people from different races, colors and nations, symbolizing unity and diversity. Gathering of people from different races, colors and nations, symbolizing unity and diversity. Who is the speaker of the passage? Nelson Mandela is the speaker of the passage. The speaker is besieged by world leaders. The speaker is besieged by world leaders. What did the speaker promise? The speaker promised to sustain the Constitution, to devote his life to the people. What did the speaker promise? To sustain the Constitution and to devote his life to the people. Then we will move to the next comprehension. Okay, 4th one. In life, every man has twin obligations. Obligation to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children. And he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. In civil and humanist society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man, by birth and color, to fulfill both of those obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live in a life apart. A twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father and a husband. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. This is also from Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom. For this, the first question, according to the speaker. Question number 1. According to the speaker, what are the 2 obligations of a person in his life? The 2 obligations are to family, parents, wife and children, to his community, country and people. These are the obligations. The 2 obligations are to his family, parents, wife and children, to his community, country and people. What did the speaker say about the life of a man of color? A man of color could not fulfill both obligations due to racial discrimination and oppression. A man of color could not fulfill both obligations due to racial discrimination and oppression. In the beginning, the speaker gave importance to family. What would happen if a man color wanted to live in a human being, punished and become alone? What would happen if a man color wanted to live as a human being, punished, became alone? The speaker was unable to fulfill his responsibility towards family. The speaker was unable to fulfill his responsibility towards family. Next, fifth paragraph. The young seagull was alone in his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them somehow. When he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempting to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. He failed up, muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother and he come around calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him stray on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him he could not move. His first light. This is the passage is extracted from the lesson. First light. Here we have 5 questions. Why was the young seagull alone in his ledge? He was afraid to fly and had not joined his siblings. What made the young seagull afraid? He was afraid his wings would not support him while flying over the sea. If the seagull did not fly, the seagull has to stray on his ledge. Next, fourth one. The younger seagull had already flown away before, as they had learned how to fly on their own. The younger seagull had already flown away before, as they had learned how to fly on their own. The seagull failed to muster up the courage to take the plunge because it seemed impossible to him.